In the second Talking Heads album, More Songs About Buildings and Food, David Byrne sings the line, "What are you in love with your problems? It's not cool to have so many problems." And I'm going to suggest that what was so prescient about that first line was that it anticipated what it is that keeps us believing that the ego self is our real self. We, in explaining how the whole thing works, this game of life, some people have come up with the idea that it is in fact a game, that it's a video game, that it's a simulation, that we all are outside of the physical world playing characters in a simulation. And the interesting question is not, is that true? The interesting question is, if that were true, what choices would I make? How would I play this character in this game this time through? Because to follow the idea through to its logical starting point, really, you are an eternal soul. You're just a piece of God. You are, if God is the ocean, you are a wave that has formed temporarily in the ocean. You have your own individuality as this wave, but in a few moments you will just be part of the ocean again. And even when you are that wave, that separate, individuated piece, you're still the ocean. That's the part that we agree to forget when we enter this game. We take on the burden, frankly, of not remembering that we are a piece of God, because that's why we feel separate. That is the original sin, having broken up with ourselves to pretend that we're not God for a lifetime, which is all too brief. But if you are thinking of it as a game, and if you are thinking of yourself, your ego self, as the character you chose to play this time, with a given set of circumstances that may be very trying circumstances, what choices will you make? How would you begin to play the game differently if you knew that it was just a game? Can you get to that point in the game, like Neo at the end of The Matrix, when he sees all the numbers running down the screen as being the field in which he is playing the game, and as a participant is part of the game? He is also defined by those numbers running down, as are the agents. And once he has that realization, once he can step back enough from ego him to see that he's just part of everything, that it's all the same information, including himself, well, then his ability to manipulate the information in that game is enhanced. It's through the roof. He can fly. God, I've always wanted to fly. So the question is, what are you in love with your problems? Are you letting your fascination with the circumstances of your life keep you mired in this life? Or can you maybe imagine that you chose to take those problems on for a little while to see what you might then be able to do in this game, given that set of problems? And how do you win the game? You remember. You remember that it's a game, and you remember that you are just a wave in the ocean that is God.